supporting workers then? Not necessarily. But looking to the Democratic Party for salvation is a surefire for the Labour movement to continue getting nowhere. The Democratic Party is not one unified thing, but a very loose collection of many disparate things united only by our nation's poor two-party design. When an election comes around, you're presented with a reductive vision. This is the Democrat Party, the supporters of ordinary people, the potential slayers of Trump, an opportunity to move forward into a new utopia. But actually, it's a bunch of individuals, many of whom we know for a fact have loads of corporate interests, are getting lobbying money, are speculating on the stock market, potentially using information gleaned from while they're in Congress. So there is no one thing called the Democrat Party. In fact, there's no cohesive vision, is there? What ultimately happens when they're in power is the power just bends them into the direction that power tends to move in anyway. So they're kind of largely irrelevant. So posing Joe Biden as a pro-Labour president is obviously nothing more than rhetoric. It's not an easy time for unions in America. The law is tilted against them. Major victories are rare. Inspiration is at a premium. Democrats claim to understand this. During the pandemic-racked year of 2020, there was no more important or inspiring union story than the effort to unionize an Amazon warehouse in Bessemer, Alabama. It represented an attempt to crack the most influential and powerful and anti-union company in the nation. Whatever you think about unions, it's interesting that the most powerful company in America is anti-union. That suggests, even with just a cursory glance, that in order to generate huge profits and institutionalize and accumulate power, you have to control the interests of your workers. You have to limit the interests of your workers being met. You have to prevent them unionizing and having a collective power, because that's the only way their interests could ever be represented. Where the battle to organize workers will have a ripple effect on what the future of work looks like across the country in decades to come. Though the union lost that election, the company cheated, and another election will be held. Amazon, famously in that election, deployed all sorts of tactics, like putting the voting booths, I think, next to a shark tank, or at least in the parking lot where you were like exposed to people. I just want to post my vote. Well, as long as you can get past that shark, you can have your democracy. Last week, we learned that former President Barack Obama's foundation has accepted a $100 million donation from Amazon boss Jeff Bezos. So even if you were optimistic about Barack Obama having a foundation and it's going to do literacy programs and it's going to represent a diverse group of interests and it's going to be really fair, $100 million of funding has come from Jeff Bezos. So Jeff Bezos probably, I'm guessing, I don't know, won't pay tax on that, and there will be influence. It's a trifling sum for Bezos, who has made more than $100 billion while doing everything possible to ensure that his hundreds of thousands of workers are unable to organise to improve their own lives. I think it's absurd and obscene that Jeff Bezos was shooting up to space on the old cock rocket while ensuring that the people that work for Amazon have a kind of life of basically indenture, and that they're unable to have their interests represented collectively. There it is, Earth, with all my indentured workers. Hey, stop that! Stop unionizing! How do you carry those two ideas simultaneously, the endeavour of space exploration, while having regressive, oppressive attitudes towards workers here on Earth? The donation was reportedly arranged by Jay Carney, Obama's former press secretary, who is now Amazon's spokesperson. What? You used to work for Obama, now works for Amazon? What a crazy coincidence. Who spoke out against the union drive in Alabama. Bezos specifically asked that the donation be earmarked to build a plaza in honour of recently deceased congressman and civil rights leader John Lewis. Earmark that. So they'll build a plaza to honour a dead congressman, but not enable actual unions. Check this out. John Lewis was a strong and active supporter of unions. Imagine how meaningful it would have been if Barack Obama had publicly supported the Amazon union drive in Alabama. He didn't, though. But he will have a plaza paid for by the guy that's become richer than Rockefeller by crushing Amazon workers. Well, it was a tough old life and I had to go sometime. Let's just see how the old legacy's going down there. Hope they learned my lessons of solidarity and humanitarianism and the rights of all men to live collectively and earn an honest income. What's that? A fucking plaza! Obama! What's that? A big skycock's coming to fuck us! It's me, Bezos! We're building you a plaza, whether you like it or not. I just want a union!